Hello and welcome to what's been an absolutely amazing Days 3 play at Johannesburg between India and South Africa in the Freedom Test Series. We have with us, as usual, Shaun Pollock from Johannesburg, and this is Dinesh Karthik here, and you're here on Cricbuzz Chatter. What a game this has been so far. The ebbs and flows have been brilliant, but let's start with how the day started. Pujara and Rahane, they set the platform for India, Polly. Tell me you enjoyed watching them bat together as much as you probably didn't enjoy how South Africa bowled to them.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy the South African performance at all with the ball in that first hour in particular. But yeah, the Majora and Rahane were fantastic. They carried on in the same way that they did the night before. They're looking to be positive, looking to put the bad ball away, understanding the importance of 20 or 30 or 40. And to have a partnership of 111 was simply brilliant by them. So yeah, it was the effort that basically set the things up for them, India, and what they were trying to achieve. So that was really good going.
Another thing that I want to ask you about, Rabada didn't bowl in the start of play. He came in a little later. Did you think that was an interesting move, or probably a move got wrong by Elgar?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise. I think KG, he's struggled a little bit with his rhythm, and you can always tell that with a bowler. When you're bowling no balls as often as he has been, and for me, he's put a lot of balls down the leg side to the right-handers in particular. And normally he's so on point with it. He doesn't give much away, and he's so consistent. So it might be sometimes you just get a gut feel as a captain, don't you? Like who's the most likely to left-hander, right-hander option. I thought Ngidi was fantastic and under-bowled so far in the game. So I wasn't surprised they went to him. Jansen, with the lack of experience he has, looking back, maybe he should have gone to KG. But all the bowlers weren't great for that first hour. It was just the catalyst of after the drinks break and a couple of overs into it, KG just hit his straps. And from then on, South Africa looked pretty good. But in saying that, I thought still some valuable contributions. I think South Africa would have been thinking, can we keep them under 200? And India would have been thinking, can we get over 200? They did that comfortably in the end. So 240 was a really impressive score to set. But I don't think you or me could have thought 118 for 2 would be the play of the day at the end of proceedings. We all would have thought probably more wickets would have gone down. So South Africa will be jumping at it. Still a long way to go because we've seen wickets where they can happen here quickly. But yeah, come on, give me an honesty call, DJ. Did you think 118 for 2, or you thought you'd have more down?
Oh, definitely. I thought there would have been 3-4 down because that's been the trend so far. The one-man standout, like you see the scorecard, Dean Elgar, taking a blow to his head, but still finding a way to stay there. Him and Dimuth Karunaratne have been very understated as openers over a period of time, but they've done fantabulously well. It's just brilliant the way they've batted, applied. Dean Elgar, look, he probably has 2 shots up his repertoire, the flick and the cut. But the way he's able to stitch that together, along with the full balls being put away, just brilliant. He just left so many balls. So good to watch him back. I do think a lot of the openers will look at him and take a lot of inspiration that technique is not the be-all and end-all of batting. What's important is what happens between your ears, as they say. And, he's got it perfect up there. And,
I think also the key thing for them, South Africa, and he's been there obviously throughout the innings, but it's the partnerships they've put together. On a surface like that, if you have bang, bang, if you lose 2 quick wickets, it really sets the cat amongst the pigeons and sends a bit of panic through the dressing rooms. But on all the occasions, decent start from Akram 47, Peterson and then 46, and this one now currently 25. So I think that's what South Africa's got right, in and around some fortunate opportunities to deal with some of the balls that misbehaved. So yeah, I've been impressed. I still look down that order and think Bavuma next, but then there's a lot of inexperience. So India won't be panicking at this stage, but I think they would want a quick start tomorrow.
As much as we speak about South Africa's batting, which has been phenomenal for D3, what do you think of India's bowling? Where did they go? Where did they do well, and where did they go wrong, actually?
Yeah, I don't think they went wrong too much. I think there were just maybe more deliveries for South Africa to put away. I think Markram in particular was quite keen to be aggressive and maybe latched onto a few more deliveries from Bumrah than we've seen in the past. But in saying that, we keep sitting up here and thinking questions are being asked. Balls are being played at lines and lengths are being held. Even Ashwin, we were wondering what sort of influence would he have in the game. He's come on and he's done his 7 overs or whatever it may be, 1 for 14. And that's had a massive impact. If India had said, "Listen, Ashwin's going to get us one of the first two wickets to fall," they would have taken it. So I don't think you guys have done too much wrong. I think South Africa have gritted it out well. Um, I think always in these cases, though, what you do think is, and we try and stress, is that we just feel bowlers can always attack the stumps more and more, so that everything misbehaves. It does damage rather than beat the bat and go through to the wicketkeeper.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm sure you know your stats. You're a well-informed man at that. The last time a spinner took a wicket in Johannesburg was in 2019 January. Shadab Khan. It's been 3 years since a spinner has gotten a wicket. In between those 3 years, 111 wickets have fallen, out of which 109 belong to medium pacers and two runouts. That's how difficult it has been for spinners to bowl there. A lot of the times they don't even play a spinner, South Africa and the touring team. So, that shows Ashwin's caliber as well. And the wicket that he got, Keegan Peterson, can you tell me a little bit about him, his story, like where he comes from? Because he seems to be a very, very interesting personality who's got starts in almost every inning on tough wickets and gone on to make a 50 in the first inning. Failed today, but just give us a little bit about him as well.
Yeah, he started off provincially, getting some runs and performing decently. And it's been since he made a move to the Dolphins that they've given him an opportunity higher up in the order, and he's answered it with some big scores. Got a couple of double hundreds as well. And that's why he's normally pretty comfortable against the spinners. Durban, much like when you used to come there, it was a bit of a lawn and green and seaming and bouncing. It's sort of changed. It's lost a bit of its identity. And as fast bowlers who used to live there and play there, we always have a minute's silence because it's become a spinner.
I don't want to stop you, but tell me, you had a good relationship with the curator, didn't you? Majority of your wickets.
Of course, that's why I'm saying, as fast bowlers, we have a minute's silence because the lawn and the green mamba that we used to know about has died a death and it's become a spinner-friendly surface. So he plays a lot of his cricket there, so he's normally pretty comfortable against the spinners. But we know the skills of Ash, don't we? That he's got that ability wherever he goes to work out some sort of plan. There's not much happening for him. He did get the ball to turn a touch, but to come up with a plan to bring about that wicket, you could see by his celebration. He's not often as animated when he picks up wickets, but you can see that meant a lot to him. But more importantly, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to put you. You've put me on the hot spot quite a few times, and it's my opportunity to put you on the hot spot this time. I was a little bit critical of Quinton de Kock in the last Test match, and I felt like he threw it away a little bit. And it seems to be the keeper's prerogative. Are you one of those? Which camp are you in? Are you in the camp of just let punt go out and play his way, or are you in the camp of what he did today is not the way he should be playing?
I'll answer that question in two parts. For a start, definitely let punt go play his way, which is fine with me. But he's somebody who's clever about it. That's what he's learned in international cricket. What I didn't like about this shot was the fact that I think the previous ball, which was an absolute snorter, dictated how he played the next ball, which is not the Rishabh Pant we have come to know. I think he's.
And do you think Russie's chitter chat had nothing to do with him? Russie from a distance?
I would like to think it's a little better than that. I know that they have a few words going on between them. Obviously, this dismissal that happened and all of that, but I don't think that played a part. I think the snorter that Rabada bowled the ball before, I think made him do what he did to get out. And, he's somebody who's going to live by the sport, die by the sport. He's won matches doing this, but he's been clever about it. He plays a shot which is within his repertoire of shots and done. And, that is what enables him to be successful over a period of time. But this one was more out of, I need to play a shot to put the bowler on the back foot. Or so, we use this word, impose himself. Whereas he is somebody who I feel, has assessed situation and then figured, all right, now that I know the wicket, this is what I'm going to do. Not think I've kept so much, so I know what the wicket is doing, so let me put pressure on the bowler. And I think, obviously, we are going to get a few dismissals like that, but we'd rather get that when he's played 10, 12, 14 balls than go and do that in the third ball, with the second ball being an absolute snorter. So, and I can also tell you this, I do have a strong feeling Rahul Dravid won't be too happy with the shot. We all know how he's played his cricket, gutsed it out, fought it out like how Pujara and Rane did when they batted. So I would have loved to see that. And he has that in him. Rishabh Pant has that in him. That's where he's developed. So I think he'd be a tad bit disappointed with the short option that he took. And more importantly, I think it was a reaction to the previous ball. And hence, even I am a little, if I might say, disappointed with that shot. What did you think, Paulie? I know you were critical, but why did you feel about that way?
I think I think the Crick Chatter created a buzz in his head, the talk on the side. But, in all honesty, as a coach, I don't always buy into this theory that you just have to allow them to play. If as a coach I'm looking at him and saying he's going to play that way, then what I'm saying is I actually don't value his wicket as a part of my top six, because he has to be more calculated than that. We've seen him get out in this fashion a couple of times in his career now already. And he's too valuable a player, particularly if you decide to play six batters, for someone to be doing that. He's too good a player to toss it away when he's not even had a look, as you say, he hasn't even had a look for 10, 15 balls. So I would definitely get him in and say, okay, give me your thought process and tell me if you think that was still the right solution or the right way to go about it. And if he comes back and says to me, no, it definitely was the right option, I'd be very surprised. But I think his reaction might be along the lines of probably the wrong time, probably the wrong execution, probably the wrong shot option. And then I'd say to him, listen, you need to play with freedom. I don't want to shackle you up and make sure that you don't express yourself the way you can. But you need to understand you're a better batter than giving the opportunity to just throw it away like that.
There's a new theory among world cricket saying, there's your name and number on the ball. So, before that comes your way, try and score as many runs as possible. It's a very interesting theory that the batters have.
That's a lack of responsibility theory.
You're not too happy with the theory, are you, Polly?
Nah, lack of responsibility. Don't want anyone on my case. I'm just going to go and back myself and play. He's better than that.
Well, Polly's made his views clear. And on that note, I think it's time to fast forward to day 4. For a start, Polly, just on the other side of the world, if I may say so, Bangladesh scripted an unbelievable victory against the World Test Championship champions, New Zealand, a few hours before the Test match took place in South Africa. And do you see South Africa in many ways, not creating history, but obviously in conditions where they have failed before, where they haven't managed to chase a big total, chase down the total of 240 today? And another question there, which is the happier of the two teams at the end of day 3?
Yeah, I think going into the dressing room, I think South Africa would be the happier, to be totally honest. I think they have to pinch themselves at being 118 for 2. I think India would have definitely expected to pick up more wickets. Are they done and dusted? Do they win the game? I'm not so sure about that. We were in the situation once in Cape Town, and I actually went up the order as a bit of a pinch hit. Went in at number 4, my proper batting position. I mean, that's where I should have batted for most of my Test career. And we tried to put Kumble and Zahir Khan under some pressure up front, and we managed to get over the line. So maybe an option is to send someone like a Keshav Maharaj at some stage just to try and get a quick 10, 15, 20 runs. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of questions asked. I don't think it's going to be smooth sailing and South Africa will get over the line comfortably. I think there's going to be a few hotspot moments out there where guys are going to be under pressure. But what I must show you, I don't know if you can see my app. That's the weather forecast for tomorrow.
I tell you what, more than the app, I trust you, Polly. So tell me what happens there, please.
Yeah, they're expecting some rain in and around the morning session. So that might play a part as well, because the last thing you want here is your ball to get soft. And if the outfield gets slightly damp and you knock it into the outfield a couple of times, it softens up, then you don't get that excessive bounce. You don't get the ball misbehaving. So that would be a little bit of a concern. And also my prediction that I told you would finish in 4 days. I mean, if it rains tomorrow, that won't be the case. So then I'll be the one who's a little bit disappointed. But okay, you tell me, who's your players to watch from what you've seen from the outside? Who are you thinking?
See, if I go by the game, obviously Shardul Thakur. But if you were to ask me, DK, who is the player to watch for, I would definitely say Bumrah. And I say that only because when cometh the hour, cometh the man, and I always believe Bumrah is the man for a captain because he always has that X factor about him and he has some special skills, and I trust that. But bowling on day 4 in the first session generally is good for the batters because it's the best time to bat on, number 1. And if there's rain around the corner, then it gets even better to bat on because the reason you just mentioned, when the ball becomes soft and there's lesser bounce. So everything in favor of South Africa, fingers crossed still for Team India. But definitely, I think going into day 4, South Africa has the upper hand. But one thing to always think about there, Pollock came and played this terrific knock at number 4 in Cape Town, and I played that test. Bad memories of it, but still I got to live with it. But similarly, maybe Keshav Maharaj is the man. Whether they do it, that's a bold decision. We're going to see tomorrow. Looking forward to another interesting day's play tomorrow, and hopefully Polly doesn't catch the flight tomorrow. Let's wait and watch for that.
Yeah.
And on
one thing for sure, make sure you don't miss the action.
Absolutely. And make sure you watch us speak as well at the end of day's play tomorrow on Cricbuzz Chatter as well. Take care. Good night. And I'll see you all tomorrow along with Polly.